is fight commentary breakdowns. And look who we got here. We got Caneo. Caneo. That's a really cool name. And he goes by Mugshot Shorty. Mugshot Shorty on YouTube. So what's up, Caneo?
Yo, what's up? What's up?
So, you are from the Arizona area, watching fight commentary, and as we've talked about before, before we started recording, you do wrestling, you do kung fu, you do a bunch of other striking, you train in MMA. How long have you trained in all that stuff?
For overall, it's just like kind of like a little bit after a little bit, because like I trained most of that stuff when I was younger, but for my main focus right now is probably just wrestling. I'm trying to apply more stuff in just sparring. So
I see.
90% of it's wrestling, and I'm just like sparring whenever I could, you know?
Nice, nice. And how is your wrestling team? Are most people on your wrestling team just focused on wrestling, or do they train in other stuff too?
There's a couple of kids that do like kickboxing and here and there, and one of the kids is just like a UFC fighter's son, so he's obviously into kickboxing as well. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. And what styles of kung fu have you trained?
I was like looking around. I've been trying to get into snake style.
Snake style. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then that's.
When did you discover that Bruce Lee poster behind your back? Like, when did you discover Bruce Lee and all that Chinese martial arts mythos?
When I was like a baby, actually, like 5, maybe younger. Cause most of my family is like really into martial arts. My mom did Shorin-ryu when we had the Torres Dojo coming around, and my uncle's into like Wing Chun. So like it's been kind of like running around, and you know, it's been just in our family.
I see. That's so interesting. Now you got nunchucks hanging in the back wall, right?
Yeah, these are.
Yeah, show us. Yeah, show us. It'd be really fun.
Actually, they're glass.
Oh. Whoa. Dude, I've had those before. Those are so cool.
These ones have Bruce Lee's face on it, but I was using them too much, and they kind of just rubbed off.
Wow. How many times have you hit your head with nunchucks?
So, I started when I was like 8, right? So, for the max, thank God they were padded. Thank God my mom loved me. But, so like, a good like 5 times at most, maybe.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I mean, we talked about people hitting themselves with nunchucks. We've seen lots of videos of people hitting themselves with nunchucks. We wanted to talk a little Bullshido story today because you have some Bullshido stories. I have Bullshido stories. So tell me about Bullshido. When did you first discover the term? When did you first start seeing people do it and something triggered in your mind? You're like, that's not right.
Actually, a very long ass time ago too, when I was like 10 maybe. At first I didn't know the term, but like I just kind of like had an idea of what it was. Like I didn't know people called it Bullshido. I just knew I was just a big bullshitter. Like first thing was when I first started hearing about one of our studios here, ATA, American Taekwondo Association. I've heard about like the discipline. They're like, oh, they're like super good, all this and that. And then a few years later, I'm stopping by and I see like professional kickboxing. There's like a girl holding sides and she's like throwing a knee up, and I'm looking in, I see belts with like animal prints on it, like no actual belt rankings. So I'm just like, bro, like, this can't be fucking real, bro. This can't be real. So I sparred with one of the kids there, and his kicks were fucking poor form.
Wow.
Yeah, so like he was just like throwing weak kicks, like wild, just flailing his legs around pretty much. It looked like he was doing like Russian dancing in a way. So like I was just like into this, like I'm like feeling him out. I'm like keeping my hands ready and I'm lifting my leg a little bit, seeing what he's all about. And he tried to do a tornado kick. He had like the body right, and the minute he threw that leg in, his other leg, like he slipped because you're sparring on grass. So he slipped and just ate shit flat on the floor. And I'm just like, yo, I just gotta leave, bro. I can't do this shit anymore. So I kind of just like left them there, and I was thinking like, this is what they're teaching their kids now.
Wow.
Like, yeah, it's like crazy. I'm just thinking about it.
My question then is, what belt was this guy?
He said he was a black belt.
What? It's always the black belts, man.
He said he was a full-on black belt. He said it took him 2 years.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I saw he took pictures with his sensei, and they're just like all like cheese
Chunky.
balls, Yeah.
Wow. It's funny because there's actually an ATA Taekwondo place down the street where I live, and I've walked by sometimes, took the bus or my friend's driven me by there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's ATA. And then I'm thinking about like the hierarchy of different Taekwondo, and I was trying to place where ATA is. And I guess ATA is pretty bottom. I guess ITF would be the best. Maybe WTF would be the second best. And then ATA would be the third best or something.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard, I've heard about them back then. My mom was like, oh, yeah, they teach good discipline because she also does karate too, like I said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it's just like all well-rounded. I mean, was well-rounded, but now they're just doing it for money.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's what I've heard, yeah.
I think a lot changed in the karate and the taekwondo realm from like the 1990s to 2010s. Like over those 20 years, a lot changed. And I'll tell you a funny story too. I had a friend who did WTF taekwondo. So a lot of people are like, Jerry, you're always talking smack about WTF taekwondo. I'm like, there's some people, one guy even like, I would go challenge you, Jerry. You don't think WTF taekwondo is any good. Well, guess what? I never said that. In fact, I had a friend who did WTF taekwondo. He did it in the 1990s, right? I met him in 2000. So I sparred him because, I was doing kung fu in China. I thought I was so good, but it was just because everyone I fought in China didn't know how to fight. So I thought I was so good. It didn't mean I could fight. It just meant everyone else couldn't fight. So I started sparring my friend who did WTF taekwondo. And, this guy had at least 6 or 7 inches on me height-wise, so his reach was much longer. And his kicks were good, man. He's throwing push kicks, spinning push kicks, all these kicks on me. And I couldn't even get to him.
Really?
That was like a reality check right there. I'm like, wow, that's some good taekwondo. I mean, maybe good taekwondo is not the right word, but it was at least good enough taekwondo to prevent me from getting to even any kind of striking range against him, especially with his reach. So that's my story, man. To everyone who always accuses this channel of favoring something or disfavoring something, here's a story to show you a nuance, guys. I like martial arts. I just don't like bad martial arts. And I don't like bad martial artists.
There's exactly. There's always like a barrier right there. Yeah. I mean, the hardest I've been kicked was like by a kung fu artist. Same thing with my uncle, because like he does Muay Thai, and he always told me too. He's just like, this is the best martial art around. And I remember one time, same shit happened to me too. I felt him because at first I was just like, nah, you're just probably weak, bro. You probably just can't take the kung fu kicks. Mm-hmm. And I met another kung fu kid. He wasn't from here. He was just like doing like tours around because he does wrestling as well. Mm-hmm. So he was like not really like a transfer student. He was just like visiting, schools and kind of participating in tournaments. So we sparred after. We kind of just like went like in the back of the school, just like practicing, right? And I see him just like stand still. Like we weren't like full on like fighting. It was just like kind of like a light spar. And I see him just like stand and stare at me, and he's like breathing out with his nose. I'm just like, what the fuck? So walking closer, and like in a split second, I'll hear just like a wham, and I fall down like just straight on the floor, and I'm like looking up, and I feel like this stinging pain in my leg, and I was just like, this is what my uncle was talking about.
Wow.
That was like the first thing that hit my mind. I was like, he's so right. I hope my shit's not broken. He's so right. And he just like kind of just like stood at me, just like, get up, or we got like a match in 3 minutes.
Wow.
And I was just like, shit, yeah. Wow. Instant regret. Don't underestimate.
So he kicked your leg? He kicked your lead leg?
No, yeah, he kicked the knee.
Okay, savage. So, and you ended up on the ground.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like a split second too. I didn't even see anything. I just seen him stare at me, and I kind of like closed my distance, and I just hit the floor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. What other type of Bullshido have you encountered besides ATA type of that specific school and it's Bullshido?
Not really a school, but this kid was claiming he does kickboxing. Or just boxing. And he said he went to the gym that a few of my friends went to and asked him if he's seen this kid. They said no. So I was just like, maybe he went from like a little different time frame. And at this time, I was talking to him, and I was just like, have you really went to this gym before? And he's like, yeah, I go there all the time. I'm hella active. I keep it active in that gym. So I'm asking everybody else. And he said, no, I hadn't seen him there. So I was just like, what the hell? And he's like acting like he's all big buff, like tough shit. And then at one point he like started pissing me off too. So I'm asking him, I was like, all right, we're just gonna like spar quick, or like do this a quick match. He's like, oh, you don't want me, man. You don't know me. I'm a different type of person in the ring. So I'm like, all right, that makes me want to fight you even more. So like, let's just spar quick. So like, I see him just throwing wild ass punches.
And so you guys went into a ring to like spar?
Oh nah, we did this like at a skate park.
A skate park, okay, all right.
Yeah, we did it at a skate park. It was a long time ago, and he's just like throwing like wild punches, right? Mm-hmm. You can see by his stance, just like a street fighter. Like he's just going like this, just like scoring out.
Oh, he's doing that Street Fighter stance. Okay, I see.
Yeah. So he's just duking it out, and he throws like these like wild ass hooks. Like he goes like this, like fully overhanded. So I'm like thinking like, all right, if he opens up again, I'm just gonna stick him. It's like he opens like that, and little do you know, like he has glasses on. So like I hit him with I slapped him twice in the face. I didn't want to like swing on hard, and his glasses knock off. Oh. And he's just staring at me. He's just like, you did not just do that, bro. Wait till tomorrow. I'm gonna fuck you up. And I'm like, we're already right here. And he's just like, no, man, wait till it happens. And he's like, just like walking back. His fucking glasses in his hand. He's just walking back, trying to call his mom. I remember that shit too.
Wow. I'm going to call my mom to come and fight you for me.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, that shit was funny.
Did his mom come?
Nah, yeah, I think she did. But he was like walking to the opposite side of the park.
Uh-oh.
So he was just like just looking at me. He's like kind of walking backwards, and we were just like this and just like on the phone with his mom.
Wow. That is
little
pretty
kid stories.
Funny.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, I mean, skate parks, back when YouTube was more cool with that type of video, every other fight video happened in a skate park.
Yeah.
YouTube, unfortunately, is not cool with that type of stuff anymore, so a lot of those videos don't pop up in people's feeds anymore, and if I try to make content analyzing that stuff, I'd probably get the video taken down, get a strike. So, but I remember those days, man, watching all those, like when people get mad at skaters and stuff like that. Oh my goodness,
the security guard.
Oh my god, the rent cops, man, the rent cops who would just like always go on a power trip against skateboarders.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. I had probably my most recent Bullshido story. So in 2014. I was checking out a Wing Chun place, and this was my second Wing Chun lesson at the place, right? So it's not like I know anything about Wing Chun. And then they're like, okay, now you're going to practice sticky hands. And the thing is, this isn't the Ip Man type of sticky hands like this.
Yeah.
You started kind of in a more kind of tight position, and you were kind of sticking this way. So it was a different style of Wing Chun. But the guy I was practicing with is like a very zen-looking white dude. He kind of starts going Charlie Zelenoff on me. Like, he starts hitting me in the head and stuff. And, like, they told me, they're like, Jerry, we're just doing sticky hands. So I thought, okay, we're just, like, we're just going to practice pairing. We're just going to practice, like, bridging. He just, like, starts hitting me in the head and stuff. And, like, I actually wanted to make a video about this separately, but since we're talking about it, I could just talk about this real quick. You know how we always see, it seems like Wing Chun guys are always the ones that are the ones like talking smack or challenging other people.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And what I think is going on is the reason it's that case is exactly that experience I had with getting kind of Charlie Zelenoff by a Wing Chun guy. Basically, all this like Wing Chun stuff has a big learning curve, right? It's not like you can just learn it in 2 weeks. Boxing in 2 weeks, you learn how to throw a jab, you learn how to throw a straight. But in Wing Chun, you don't learn anything in 2 weeks. But since it's got a higher learning curve, and it's marketing itself as the most scientific type of self-defense, you get these people, let's say they spend 5 years, they spend 8 years, they spend 10 years doing Wing Chun. So now they think they're the master because people who just came into the studio can't really fight them using these methods, right? So in their mind, there's this big knowledge gap. But, right, that's why there's this ego. And then, like, during sparring, during drills, they're also not controlled. They're, like, hitting the guy in the head when you said you're not, you thought you were just doing cheese down. So it creates this kind of, wow, I think I'm really, really good because all these people who come in who are training our system, it takes them so long to get to my level. But the whole point is, the whole foundation is not real fighting.
Exactly.
And that might anger some Wing Chun people. I'm not saying Wing Chun can't be used in a fight. I'm just saying a boxer who learns how to do a jab and a cross and knows how to step and slip and roll, it's just more efficient to learn that way if you're trying to prepare yourself for street encounters or for whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's still so funny. Like, people keep asking me, why is it that we see a higher percentage of, like, these challengers of traditional martial arts, these Wing Chun guys, than any other martial art? And I think that's what it is. It's just the learning curve, plus its marketing, plus the fact that they don't seem to understand how to spar safely. It creates this illusion of, oh, wow, I am such a badass. And again, guys, I'm not saying that's all Wing Chun schools, okay? This is my observation, my analysis. So again, I don't want the Wing Chun guys going, oh my God, I want to tell you Wing Chun now because you think we took the obvious.
Yeah. Oh,
and
man,
I will keep telling you about that school. The guy, the main Wing Chun coach, he was talking so much. You know how the Gracies have a Gracie challenge? You know, you can go whenever. You can still go to the Gracie Academy in Torrance and challenge them, right? So the guy was like, yeah, dude, I think we should go, man. We should go. And he's like, the guy who I was practicing Chi Sao with, he's like, yeah, that guy, I think that guy can go take on the Gracies. And then I'm like, why don't you go? He's like, well, I got surgery on my arms. I'm not going to be able to fight.
Oh, my
And then,
God.
Here, besides giving that excuse, he said this thing. He's like, yeah, you know, back in the day, before UFC even happened, I met Rorion Gracie, and I beat him. He said he beat Rorion Gracie. And so I ran around to a jiu-jitsu school run by a guy who used to train at the Gracie Academy. I'm like, yeah, this guy said he beat Rorion Gracie. I mean, I'm not going to say his name because, I don't want to start shit, but do you think that's possible? And the jiu-jitsu coach is like, dude, if you told Rorion that and you gave him a name, Rorion would go to his studio and start fighting him. Nobody says that. Yeah, so it was so funny that he said there were like 6 or 7 people in the room that heard this. Okay, so I'm not the only one that heard this. He was like, yeah, one time I fought Rorion Gracie with my Wing Chun and I beat him. He said that.
What?
I know. That's like Bullshido right there. Like that's Bullshido right there. Maybe he did. Maybe he fought a guy named Rorion Gracie that's not the Jiu-Jitsu Gracie. That's what I'm thinking. Because I don't think he would just make up a story. Like, he doesn't seem like that kind of guy, but maybe he is. I don't know.
There's no way. Maybe he's like a, interdimensional Aikido, Rorion Gracie, came from another planet or something.
Maybe. The one thing I'm thinking about, like, I don't know how big Rorion Gracie is because I've never met Rorion Gracie, right? Like, we've seen Hoist in UFC, we've seen Hickson, and we've seen like Hoyler and we've seen Henzo, but the Wing Chun guy was a super big football player, like 6'5", like really big, probably like 250 pounds. So I'm thinking if he and Rorion Gracie sparred, maybe here's what I think happened. Since he's a football player, he took Rorion down. And then Horion's ready to do his jiu-jitsu, but then he thought he won already because I took him down and I'm on top of him, right? He doesn't understand that the guy can still submit you, can sweep you. So he just thought I took him down and maybe he ended the fight. He's like, yeah, you see how I beat you. I think that's what happened if they actually did fought, which I don't even think they fought.
That does make sense. Yeah. Because, jiu-jitsu is also working on bottom.
Yeah.
Like, we also had that problem here in wrestling when I was in wrestling. There was a kid there during our preseason where there's a kid who's saying like he does jiu-jitsu and all this shit, and I'm just like, okay, he thinks that he could apply it. So first I got him like double leg, I'm like hooking a leg, got like we call like a chicken wing or whatnot, and I have him on his back, and then he tries to trap my leg in, and he's like, oh, I got you too. Look, I'm gonna get like a little leg lock, and I'm just like, dog, this ain't a wrestling match. This is not jiu-jitsu. Sorry, Mr. Wrestling. This is jiu-jitsu. Like, what are you doing, dude? And the coach even said, like, he's like, hey, that's a pin. Get up off of him. And I'm just like, nah, he thinks that this is a pin, but I'm not leaving until he fucking realized that this is not jiu-jitsu. So we stood like 3 minutes arguing for a headlock, and he's on his back, and he's like still holding onto my leg. It did hurt. I'm not gonna lie. This shit did fucking hurt.
So he actually tried to leg lock you.
Yeah. Wow. While he was on his back. Full on pinning.
Mm-hmm. That's so interesting. So you were pinning him under wrestling rules, and you had the advantage, and he was like, "I'm gonna leg lock you."
Yeah.
Did he ever try that in a tournament or anything like that?
No. He just stood there, stubborn like an 8-year-old, just like, no, I got your leg in. Yeah.
Is he still on the wrestling team?
No, he graduated, I think. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's so interesting. Well, with his type of mentality, I guess he's fit for doing MMA or something.
Nah, he wasn't much of a striker. He was just like a talker, you know, like he knows like all about these pressure points, and he has like no actual training in it. Yeah.
So he was on the wrestling team and he knew pressure points. Did he try any pressure points while he was being wrestled?
Yeah, he tried this like on lock on me. It almost felt like an Aikido move, because like we were just like drilling, doing half shots, and he like went under my arm. He like pulled it over him, and he had like was on behind me, and I was just like, "Are you sure this is gonna work?" Like you watching too much Steven Seagal or something, boy. Like this is too much.
Wow. Well, it's so interesting. Like when I went to high school and even in college, I felt like I didn't meet too many people who did Bullshido, who like had the Bullshido mindset. So I'm wondering why you've met so many people with the Bullshido mindset. Is it because like the Phoenix, the Scottsdale area, because it's so close to Native American reservations, is there kind of that influence? Like people have this mystical, like spiritual thing, or is it something else?
Oh nah, it's just none of that. It's just like from now, like there's like a lot of people like think that they're the shit because like some people don't like start like fighting less. So it was just like more of like where I'm at from like South Phoenix. It's just like everybody's like you're like gangbanging and think that they like street fighting and shit and think that like they're the best. Yeah.
I see. So South Phoenix, it's kind of a slightly rougher part of Phoenix. Is that a good way to describe it, or is it not really?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on where you're at. Like, yeah, I'd say it's like a rougher part of like Arizona. Yeah,
makes sense. And I know, for example, a lot of rougher neighborhoods. It's like sometimes in the rougher neighborhoods, you think because they're always like on edge, they're always kind of like watching their backs. There would be less Bullshido, but a lot of times there's more Bullshido there. A lot of people, it's like because they don't have as many resources to check the information, they're more prone to actually receiving like bad information and believing in it.
Exactly. That's why all these Bullshido dojos here actually getting more money now. Like they put, you know, the ATL over here in Levine. Like that should, I mean, I'm not sure. They say they teach everything else. They say they teach Muay Thai in there, even though it's Taekwondo. So like I'm not sure if it's like legit or not, but for the Taekwondo part, I've seen their side kicks. I've seen their, you know, their little like knee kicks. Them be trying to use their shins. I think they had a Wing Chun dummy there at one point.
Wow.
I don't know why that was there, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I seen one there.
Wow.
Yeah, and like I said, the coach, the sensei, she had like size up and knees up. It was like street self-defense, kickboxing. I don't know when the last time they used size in kickboxing, but
yeah.
like I guess.
In general, dude, you mentioned something really good, which is to spot a McDojo. One way to spot it is exactly like you said. If on their bulletin or on their signs, they're like, yeah, Kung Fu, Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai. It's like they list everything they teach. It's like, no, you don't teach all of that, man. I've totally seen schools like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's bad here.
Yeah.
It's bad here because that's the only place that they have like dojos or anything. Other than that, they're just boxing gyms. Some of them are okay, I guess. But like, if you want to go beyond that, there's not a lot here except, you know, the wrestling, wrestling for high school or the little school programs that they have, wrestling programs and all that. But other than that, it's really not much that we have.
Yeah. Wow, it rang something in my head when you're like, yeah, that school, it's like teaching Taekwondo and Muay Thai and they had a Wing Chun dummy. I've seen schools like that, man. They've never taught any jiu-jitsu, right? And in the sign, it's jiu-jitsu. Or they even like, sometimes a Bullshido school will actually go a separate thing. They let's say they will expand beyond martial arts, so they'll go yoga, but they never ever teach yoga in there. But it's like they'll have yoga as one of the things to draw female students in. Yeah,
nah, it's part of the training, man. It's yoga, Tai Chi type stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, there's like a few legit schools here. Like there's a little store here called Karate Mart. I'm not sponsored, no shout outs. But like I get like stuff like this from there, I get these from there. Shit, I get like all my stuff from there, and right next to it they have a Krav Maga school.
Oh.
So they kind of like, I guess we're getting better here with our schools, but like it's just still like everybody knows like ATA and all this other Bullshido shit. Like there's a JKD studio here, but I haven't checked them out. There's quite a few, but I'm like seeing the pictures and stuff. It's just same thing, you know, size, kickboxing, and you know, street self-defense, and there's like the guy like poking somebody's eye out. It's just like, I don't know, I'll have to check their training out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, it's just everywhere, dude.
That
Almost
Krav
everywhere.
Maga school kind of interests me too, but I think with Krav Maga too, we got to watch out too. There's a lot of Bullshido and Krav Maga, especially when they go to the ground.
Yeah.
A lot of the Krav Maga, it seems like a lot of the non-jiu-jitsu schools or non-MMA focused schools that try to teach ground stuff, any white belt in jiu-jitsu will like see holes in it. Like I give them props for trying, but it's like very simple stuff. They don't even get. It's so interesting. And I think with Krav Maga, they're definitely guilty of that. Like Krav Maga, Kizi fight system. Although Kizi, the whole Kizi thing's a whole nother. Actually, since we're talking about it, this is a story about Kizi. So I wanted to interview the guys. You know how Kizi, they made not the John Wick, they made the Batman movies, and then they made the other one starring Tom Cruise where he used Kizi. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Actually, I don't think I do.
Okay, Jack Creature, the Tom Cruise Jack Creature movie used Kizi fighting system. If you notice, it's very Kizi. So, anyways, Kizi broke up, right? It became Defense Lab, and it became like the original Kizi, and like the Kizi people went to Spain. That's where they're from, and then Defense Lab stayed in America. So, because like I believe the Defense Lab guy's Australian or something. So I wanted to interview them. This was like 2017 or 2018 because some of my viewers said, "Hey, please go talk to Kizi." So I contact the Spanish branch of the Kizi, right? And guys, just a funny side note, I don't ever get along with people from Spain. I don't know why. It's something about people from Spain. This is me partly joking, so please don't take offense. But if you take offense, you're going to do anyways. People from Spain still, and it's a certain region in Spain. There's chill people from areas of Spain. But this region of Spain, they still think they're the Spanish Empire. They got this like, they're almost like the British of the Hispanics. Like they think they're like the Spanish Empire. They think they're like the coolest people. They still think like everyone should respect them. But anyways, enough of my rant. I've offended my Spanish audience. Spain, okay, not Hispanic. I said Spain.
Yeah.
So, I contacted the Kizi people, and I have like email records of this. I asked them, "Can I interview them?" They're like, "Yeah," and then they gave me some times, and it's like 1 a.m. to my 3 a.m. I'm like, "How can I interview you then?" And they're like, "Yeah, this is the only time we're available." It's just like I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm not interviewing you guys anymore. That was just such a disrespectful thing. Like, I'm trying to interview. I get it. In your mind, you're doing me a favor, but hey, I got a big audience. I can spread you to people, right? Like, a lot of times, people don't understand. Like, when I'm interviewing people, I'm also like giving you publicity. I try to go out of my way to like promote you, but like maybe the Kizi people thought I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a lot from them. They're not gonna get anything, but I still remember, it's like I can only interview them in times when I'm supposed to be asleep. Like, what in the world? Come on.
Yeah, I would hate that shit too. I mean, damn. Another Bullshido story for you too. Mm-hmm. Like, you know karate, right? Yeah. You know like the styles, Kyokushin, Rukyu, Shoreiru, Shorin, all that, right? Mm-hmm. There's a kid that I used to like, I'm friends with. He was saying, I forgot what he said, but he was just talking shit, and I was just like, you know, playing around. I was like, "Bet you won't beat my ass though, you know, like, well, we want to take it outside." And he's just like, "No, man, I'm a black belt. I'll whoop your ass." And I was like, "Black belt, really? What style?" And he's like, at first he said jiu-jitsu, and I was like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, name, because he said karate at first. He said, "Yeah, I do jiu-jitsu and karate." I'm like, all right, name. I was trying to mess with him here. I was like, name one kata in jiu-jitsu. And he's like, you name one.
No.
Yeah, and I was just like, I named another from like a different karate. This was to also test him. I was like, wansu, which is another kata and shoreiru. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, I did that one. So I was like, yeah. So I was like, you did the wansu kata in jiu-jitsu. And he's like, yeah, man, that's where I got my black belt. And I'm just like, okay, okay. What type of karate? And he's just like, I didn't know there's types of karate. Like he was like making like that little self note to himself. He's like, shit, I didn't know there's types of karate. I was like, how about you name one? So I was like, all right, Kyokushin. He's like, yeah, that one. So I'm just like, all right, give me a role. Name one of the roles. And he's just like, you have to knock him out the ring. And I was like, okay. I mean, I guess you're kind of big. Then I guess you're like kind of sumo wrestler. So I was just like going on. I was just like, he's like, okay, you name one. I was like, you can't hit the head because you know Kyokushin, you can't punch the head.
Yeah. And
he's just like, yeah. I remember that. I got outed for that. And I'm just like, really? What was the dojo called? He's like, oh. Then again, ATA. So I'm just like, all right. Adam sit next to me. We both looked it up. I don't know. I didn't see any fucking Kyokushin in ATA.
ATA Kyokushin.
So I'm just like, all right, man, you're bullshitting me right now. All right. So I seen like, I told him like it's kind of, you know, his tower of cars kind of just like collapsed.
Wow. So
yeah, and he's just like, no, man, I'll still whoop your ass. And I'm just like, one of these days, bro, one of these days, watch. One of these days, I'm gonna catch you, and I want to spar with you. And he's just like, no, man, you don't want that. And he kind of just like backed off and kind of told everybody else that. And I'm just sitting there, just like, what the hell, dude? Why?
Wow. You know, this type of posturing is so interesting because you know, the middle school, the high school, you know, by college most people grow up, but like the middle school and high school I went to. The middle school had some like people you could say from rougher neighborhoods, but in high school there were nobody from rougher neighborhoods in my high school. So I guess I went to a pretty rich high school, even though I never felt like it. So like there was none of that kind of like, oh yeah, you know, we got to show each other we're tough. It was more like we got to show each other we had money. Like that was my high school. So like I'm like the stories you tell me, I've seen some of that in middle school, but I'm just not used to seeing that in high school and you know after high school. But I guess like you know, a lot of people like if they don't really get out of their neighborhood and they stay in their neighborhood, then I guess maybe they're doing that all their lives, which is kind of sad too.
It is.
Yeah.
It honestly is. I mean, for like us, like in like the rougher parts, you know, like where I'm at from South Phoenix, it's either like you gotta show like you're rich, you gotta show like you tough, or like you just gotta like show off something, you know what I mean? So like you can get like respect, you know, I'm just like, hey, you know, I'm this big shit. And there's like a guy where you're like, hey, you know, I'm rich, look at me flexing with money.
Wow.
And all this stuff, yeah.
So true. So it's like both sides of the coin. Imagine the guy showed off he's rich and he's tough, man.
He does. I remember a long time ago I caught him out. I'm not saying his name. He knows who he is. I caught him out because he had a wrestling jacket. Take note, he's actually Mexican. He had a do-rag on with a whole bunch of money. And he's always asking me for like $1. I'm just like, dude, ain't you got money? Like, I showed him his posts and stuff, and he actually ended up taking it down.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I'm just like, all right, you know, that's the first reality check. I'm trying to give him the second one, you know, we're trying to see him spar with him. Yeah. Test his Kyokushin, but...
Dude,
yeah, what were you going to say?
Talking about, like, reality checks, man, I remember... So, when Krav Maga first started coming onto the scene, it was when I was in middle school. So like in the early 2000s, right? And when Krav Maga started coming on, it probably was already introduced to America longer than that. But like when Krav Maga started appearing in books and stuff, I think it was like in the early 2000s. But I remember like me and a friend, you know, I was doing kung fu at the time. My friend was just a crazy Arab dude. So we were good friends because we'd always get into fights in school. And we were just like looking at this like book that was like teaching like, you know, like military Krav Maga defense. Of course, you know, there's a lot of like ball hits and stuff like that. So we're like, okay, next time we fight someone, we're gonna try and implement that. So like, it's amazing. Like what people don't realize is you got to pressure test all that like Krav Maga hitting the balls because the balls are pretty small. Like most people's dicks and balls are like really. It's just this little area in between your legs. It's not an easy target to hit if you don't practice. You know. So, like, he got into a fight once with this stupid Brazilian kid who was like a really big like jerk, and like my friend kept trying to hit the nuts, right? And he wouldn't be able to because it's just like you just don't understand. Most people in general, they're not gonna fight with their like pelvis pointed at you, like right? And so it was like he kept telling me after the fact, like they fought and both of them. It was like a draw, like nobody really won, and it was. I guess in that case, I would say my friend won because my friend was smaller than the Brazilian kid. So if you fight someone bigger and it was a draw, I think the smaller person won. I would say that. Some people can argue with me on that. But anyways, so my friend's like, I'm like, why were you throwing these uppercuts on him? Like, you weren't aiming for his face when his face was right there. I asked him. He's like, oh, because remember that book we were reading? I was trying to aim for his nuts. Like, he said eggs, right? Because he was like from Jordan. He didn't really speak English. I was like, yeah, I tried to aim for his eggs. He was like, he was trying to hit the nuts and like he couldn't because like you don't understand. It's like most people when they're fighting, they're not gonna like point that stuff and have it wide open for you to hit. And like I had a story like that too. I was sparring someone and I was like, oh, I'm gonna try some Krav Maga stuff. So I tried to like do like a grab and like I couldn't even get at him. And then he made fun of me for like the rest of 8th grade. He's like, oh, this dude, what is he doing, man? What is it? And I was like, yeah, I believed in that stuff, you know. Guys, I'm not saying Krav Maga is BS. I'm just saying like you got to pressure test. Okay, so like. If he's teaching you all these things like, okay, do a snap kick to the nuts or something, like make sure you're practicing it and like, I don't know, get someone to wear a cup and like run around so you can like practice it on like live people. Don't just like think you practice a kick on something static, you can do it. That's just what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I don't know why they make it illegal to hit cross shots. I mean, I think it should be, you know, they should just put a little cup down there and make it legal.
I mean, yeah, like have a cup there, make sure it doesn't do damage, but like every time someone gets hit in that area, make sure that it's like recorded. So it's like if someone gets hit in that area, like minus 20 points, or like whoever hits them gets an extra boost or something. Because in a real fight, you get hit twice down there. Like most people don't realize you hit someone once down there, he might be okay. You hit him twice or 3 times, it might be enough, right? I got hit once. I was getting into a fight with my best friend. This was very many years ago, but like he was a really crazy Korean kid, and like we got into a big fight, and he kicked me in the nuts. And I remember I was, for like 1 second, I was like, this hurts a lot, but I could choose to hurt, I could choose to keep fighting. And I kept fighting him. But I just remember that 1 second. It's like if I gave into the pain, I would be done. But that's only because he hit me in the nuts once. If he kicked me twice or hit me 3 times, I'm sure I'd be down on the ground already. So that's another thing for people. Like, you got to pressure test it. Like, don't pressure test it in fights, of course. Like, pressure test it like with something controlled, something professional. But you gotta think about it beyond just what the instructor tells you. You know, like poke the eye. I remember I learned this thing in Krav Maga where you like do this type of at the eye.
Yeah.
Try to actually do that on people. Someone moving. You know, so try to do that on someone moving. Like someone, you know, like can you actually poke their eye and then like very gently test. What happens if, let's say, you don't go like this? What if your fingers are like this? They're hyperextended. You know, are you gonna hurt your fingers? You got to know all of that. I remember it was National Geographic or one of the other like cable networks. They were testing a kung fu. It was
I seen that.
You seen that Cobra technique? Did you see how she used her fingers? Her fingers were so hyperextended, man.
She did that wrong.
Yeah, her fingers were they were like this, if you guys can see. Her fingers are like this. So I made a comment down there. I'm like, if she misses the eye and she hits the orbital bone, her fingers are going to get broken.
Yeah.
You know, like in Krav Maga, they teach you, like, you got to go like this, right? Because that way it's like going downwards. Like, most Kung Fu styles, most Kaji Kempo styles, Kempo, they teach you to go downwards. If you're scraping or whatever, you never hyperextend your fingers. But when National Geographic did that, I was like, this is so cringe.
It is. Like, what I learned was that, like, you can keep it straight. When you do, like, an open jaw, that's when you keep it straight. So, like, the minute you hit your target, it's, like, just one and done. You don't follow through with it. Because I seen the video. You seen the video where, well, let me see. I'm trying to look for a prop here. So she goes like this with her extended leg.
Oh, yeah. I just, like, see that makes me cringe. Oh.
And I was just like, damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be skeptical about it because, like, it seems legit. But, like, really?
Yeah.
Like, maybe she took some sake before she went there or something, you know? I don't want to hate too much on her about it. Her form was pretty good, too.
Yeah. Now, I mean, the reason her form was good was because she's what you would call a wushu guy or a wushu person. Like, I can tell she's trained the katas, the taolu, as she called it in Chinese. She's trained, she knows how to look pretty, but you can tell when she did the demonstration, she doesn't know how to apply it, because if she did, she wouldn't have hyperextended and followed through, man.
She knocked the mannequin back, dude. Did you see that?
Yeah. And you're lucky it was a mannequin. It wasn't like someone's bone.
Yeah, it wasn't like a replica of like a skull.
Yeah, exactly. It was a replica of his skull. Exactly.
Like you see on those little blade blacksmith shows, where they test the blades.
Yeah, yeah.
She's lucky they didn't test it on that.
Yeah, exactly. One of those. I think
gone.
they're those like concussion dummies. No, they're called something else. Some kind of dummy. They're called.
Yeah, it's not a bobby either, or whatever it's called. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, man.
But yeah.
For those of you who are watching, I'm gonna try to find that clip. I'm gonna put it in the pinned comments or something, so you guys can know what we're talking about. But it's gonna make you cringe. Ugh.
They muted like a good part of the video too, because I seen it twice on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they also imitated like other animals too, like the crane. This guy's like, oh, he could dodge all this stuff, but he didn't do any striking. He was just on a stick, just dodging whatever they threw at him. I don't really remember. But yeah, it was just kind of weird.
Yeah, there's a difference between being able to stand on one leg and like doing moves versus like using that in any type of real encounter, right? And, being pressure tested, 99% of stuff goes out the window, and that's okay, because there's a reason why there's only like a few ways to throw a real punch and a few ways to throw a real kick and a few ways to throw and stuff. Yeah, and all the flowiness is cool, but I think ultimately what we see is if you become a top level person at the basics, the foundations, then maybe you can add in some of the flair, right? Look at Anderson Silva, look at Tony Ferguson, or even look at Yair Rodriguez, right? You look at those people, they're adding flair into a really good established foundation, but don't expect to lead with the flair and get anywhere. That's what you see with like all the cases on my channel. Like they practice the flair all the time, and then when it comes down to an actual fight, they don't even have the basics, and they get
they get knocked out.
Yeah, KTFO.
KTFO. That's cool. I mean, I don't know yet, but I've seen this kid that claims capoeira. Like he says he does capoeira. Kind of has like a little accent with him. He's not Brazilian though, but he also claims aikido because he comes here from Romania. And I've asked him too, like, is that all you trained with? And he's like, yeah, I've done boxing and kickboxing. So I'm just like, okay, why'd you do Aikido though? He says, mainly for the reflex. And it's, I mean, I don't know if that's what it's good for. I don't know if that's what it teaches you. Like, I've seen a couple of tutorials, like, suggesting on, like, Aikido falls, like, how to wind fall properly, which is another reason why I wouldn't do it personally. But if he ever comes down here, I'll probably text you about it, see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Keep me posted if you guys light spar safely, of course. Just see where his Aikido's at, because Aikido is one of those things that always boggles my mind, right? If it really is that ineffective, why is there so much? There's like Aikidos everywhere. I knew a guy who did Aikido when I was growing up too.
Really?
And the guy showed me some stuff, and the stuff he showed me didn't seem to be compliance drills. Like, you look at the modern Aikido, like, he touches the guy's wrist and the guy goes flying, right? That's what you think of Aikido now. But the guy I knew growing up who did Aikido, a lot of his stuff seemed more like judo. That's why, like, when I started seeing Aikido on YouTube, I'm like, that's not the Aikido that he showed me. Like, the Aikido that he showed me, this guy's name was Nick. Nick showed me all these Aikido, like, he would, like, body lock me and stuff like that. He would, like, double leg. He was single leg. I remember very clearly he single legged me one time. So that was the Aikido he was doing. So, like, I don't know why, like, I don't know if he was just doing another branch of Aikido, or maybe he was doing judo. He called it Aikido. I don't know. But that's always what my impression of Aikido is. And then now you just see every Aikido demonstration online everywhere, just people doing crazy flips. Like, it's just like, what is going on?
Just backflips.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably that. I mean, I think it's the way they spar, because like the way some schools teach it, they probably don't spar, which is why they're like doing front flips and throw themselves on the floor. Maybe he had some type of sparring in his Aikido. Yeah. Maybe they actually applied it.
Yeah. And he told me one time, this is a really funny story, like they were like, grappling, and the guy took him down, and he like landed on his butt, and he like farted real loud, and like everyone laughed, and he said he was so embarrassed. But like, I don't think you see that type of story usually with Aikido gyms, right? Usually it's not like, me and him were like going at it, like grabbing each other's collars, and then he threw me, and then I farted. Like, you don't hear that story, most Aikido gyms, I tossed like 6 guys, I'm so cool.
Yeah. Without even moving a muscle.
Yeah, exactly. Without even moving a muscle.
I have a fart story like that too. This is like when I got back into it because I wrestled when I was like 8, 10, and they pulled me. My parents pulled me out. But then this is another wrestling story where they're teaching us like front headlocks and how to do like a move they would call shuffle shook, where like you like throw the person away and you like get your 2 points. And my coach, he's fucking heavy, dude. Like he's like 200 pounds, 211. I'm only like 140, 150. So I'm just like, you know, like this little like kid. And this big ass was like gorilla of a man is just like just throwing me around teaching these kids shit. And I remember one time he had me like in a headlock. So he passes my head and he grabs my leg. And the minute he pulls that leg in, everybody's quiet. It's a loud ass room. You can hear like echoes when people are slamming. Or you're just like this loud ass fart just rip out of me. And everybody just stares at me. The coach runs to the opposite side of the mat, and I'm just laying down there like, can I use the bathroom now? And he's just like, dude, just go, bro. I think you got something's wrong with you, kid. Just go. And he grabs the kid like twice, like half my size. He's just throwing him around because he felt bad. He thought I shit myself.
Nice. Oh man, yeah. My only kind of like potty humor story was when I was doing kung fu in China when I was young. One time the pants I was wearing started tearing, and like my kung fu teacher was the type he hit you with sticks and stuff. So like I was afraid of him, right? And so he didn't tell me I could like go change my pants or like go stop training. So I kept training, and then my pants started tearing more and more. And he like just I feel like he found it funny. But like everyone was making fun of me, and by the end of the training session, usually you train for like 2 hours in kung fu. By the end of the 2 hours, my entire crotch area was completely ripped. You saw my underwear and everything, and the coach just like didn't even tell me to go change my pants. He's like, okay, all right, and I don't know why. Maybe it was one of those moments like, hey, why does Jerry not give an F so much? Maybe that was why. You know, in Kung Fu class in front of 60 people, he tore his pants completely, right? So he had to learn to just deal with shame. I don't know. Like, for 2 hours, you know, the pants would... they didn't tear until like 20 minutes in. So like for an hour and 40 minutes, the pants were completely torn and I was kicking and everyone's laughing.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, well, okay, so what type of kung fu pants were they? Really like the ones they had to like fold and you like tie it like this?
No, not at all. They were just like, they were probably just like loose type of like, probably more almost like pajama pants type of thing, but they weren't they weren't like gi pants or anything. No way to tie them or anything. Very kind of like low quality, cheap material.
Okay, so were they like tight around the waist and like baggy at the bottom?
Yeah, they were baggy at the bottom, and then I don't even think they had a waist tie. It just had like a normal kind of like I don't know what they're called, but no tie. The thing is, most people don't realize even when most kung fu schools, when I trained in China in the 90s, most kung fu schools didn't even have a uniform. You could go train with whatever. Like, you could buy a kung fu shirt if you want, like, of the school, but they never required you to train in a uniform.
Yeah, I know.
When I then come to America, every freaking kung fu school has like a uniform. You have to pay $100 freaking bucks to buy the uniform. It's just like capitalism messes things up. But you know, communism messed up kung fu too. But then capitalism messed up a lot of kung fu too in a different way. So it's
That's
like
true.
Before you even learn your first lesson, you already paid like $100 bucks for the staff and for the shirt and for the uniform. It's just like I still remember. One of Jet Li's teammates, she has a school in the DC area, and so we were like, oh my god, we gotta learn with Jet Li's teammate, right? So I remember we were signing up for classes, and she was like, okay, all right, so cool, we're lucky to have you. You're signing up for however many weeks or months. So here's the breakdown. They broke down the price. It's like classes, and then it's like shirt, pants, belt. It was like all this shit. And I remember I was looking, and the teacher, her daughter was there looking. And I looked at her. I just like gave myself a face palm, and she's like, "Yeah, I understand it. I feel your pain." I was like, in my mind, I'm like, "Why do you say something to your mother, huh? Tell her to stop charging us for everything." But it's like I don't know where it's going with that story, but I guess we're talking about uniforms. That's just like, that's how it changes. That's how it changes. And of course, you can justify it creates community spirit. It creates school spirit. But ultimately, they're upping the price by like 3 times of a stupid shirt.
Yeah, for like it's unnecessary.
Unnecessary. It never, in China, when I trained in China, never they force you to buy a uniform or anything like that.
Yeah.
And in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, too, I'm going to say a little smack about that. A lot of schools in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu make you buy their belts, too. Some schools are more like, no, you can just buy a belt online. But some schools, like, you have to buy the belt of your school. And it's like all these justifications. It's just like, I get it. You're marking up the price, you know?
Yeah, you're just trying to get some money. Damn, we get
but
it.
I don't think that's just Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu schools. That's probably like most martial arts schools in America. It's like, here are things they have to have. Let's make some money off that.
Yeah, let's just rip them off a little bit more. Like, we get it, bro. You're trying to make money. All right, it's obvious.
Yeah.
just put best money wasting dojo instead.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, especially I think nowadays with online media and all that, there's so many other ways to make money that you don't have to rip off the students that come to train with you. It's
That's true.
You put your stuff online, you put your stuff on YouTube, so you can have paid courses, you can have ad revenue, you can have a lot of other ways. You don't have to like overcharge them for stupid stuff like belts and uniforms and all that. Like I remember there was a school I was training at, and they're like, yeah, the gi, we give you at the lowest price, but you're welcome to check on the internet. So I'm like, okay, I'll take you up on the offer. So I went on Amazon, and of course the gi was cheaper on Amazon. Like, why would you lie to my face and then encourage me to check you? You're just like, he's like, yeah, our gis are like the lowest price, man. We don't try to make money on them. And then I check Amazon. Of course, the gis on Amazon are cheaper. Like, well, don't make that claim if you know it's not backed up by something.
Yeah, that's where Bullshido comes in too, because like it's very unverified. Like you can say anything you want, and you could make it look like legit as possible, and you could pull people into that. Yeah. I think that's why Bullshido is still around, just for money, to be honest. Yeah. You're not trying to teach kids like legitimacy.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, I think in everyone's mind, we just want to believe, right? We want to believe, and I don't blame it. And on the real world, sometimes it's kind of hard. So like, we want to believe in fantasy. Everyone needs a little bit of fantasy. I think the problem with many people in Bullshido is that fantasy can get people hurt. You know, if you're practicing or believing in all this and then someone actually pulls a gun on you, you've done this like gun defense 100 times, you're going to get yourself shot. You know, that's the problem.
Exactly. That's so true too. Because I remember I had a little reality check too. I thought I was a shit, like, because I thought I could disarm people. Because I seen like this like dude do it. He was teaching like Krav Maga. I was looking at another one of the Krav Maga schools. And I don't know, he did like this weird thing where like he like smacked the back of the hand, and he grabs the blade of the gun with the other, and he has it to you. So I was trying that on one of my friends. I mean, it worked for me because like I knew how to properly do it, and then my friend tried it. This is dull. This is plastic. YouTube. Okay. I know how it is. Plastic. So he grabs the blade like this, and just cuts this big ass, like, deep inch, like, blade across his hand. Ugh. It was, like, just bleeding in. Ugh. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not trying that anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
So many X factors, like he said. So many X factors, man. You never know. Wow.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And I was just like, he was copying me, but I wasn't even trying to teach him. Mm-hmm. Like, I was just trying to verify to see if it works. And the kid's like a stick compared to me. I should have probably done it on somebody with more resistance, because I kind of did like nothing, and then he tried to do it on me, and I kind of got like a reality check out of it.
Yeah, and another good lesson too is just start with practicing with plastic stuff. I guess you two are practicing with non-plastic stuff.
Yeah. But I sharpened it too, but what?
Wow. I visited a judo coach. He was a judo guy, and he was a Japanese BJJ black belt. Or, sorry, that was wrong. He was a JJJ, a Japanese Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and a Judo black belt. And I think eventually he got a BJJ black belt. But he was teaching some Bullshido self-defense, like what you were saying. Like, I still remember, it was like a blade defense, and he actually said, okay, all right, worst comes to worst, you do grab the blade. Like, you grab the blade of the knife. It might cut you, but it's better than nothing. I'm just like thinking to myself, like exactly like what your friend experienced. Yeah, you grab the blade of the knife, he pulls. Okay, now your fingers are cut. Oh, he doesn't. You know, his assumption was you grab the blade and you can like manipulate the hand. But usually, if someone gets the blade grabbed, they're gonna react, right? And you grab the blade, they react. Your fingers are gonna get cut. Oh,
maybe that's the defense. You start throwing blood at his face, you know?
Yeah, that's true. You throwing blood at his face, you know, get it all slippery, get some, like, hep or something, the hip in his eyes.
Yeah, just start breathing in his face, you know, say some crazy stuff.
But that's such a great story, too, because it shows, guys, even if they're a judo black belt, a Japanese jiu-jitsu black belt, and a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, doesn't make them qualified to teach knife defense. So you have to take everything with a grain of salt. Whatever they teach, man, you should pressure test it. You should really pressure test it. I remember very, very famous BJJ black belt, I'm not going to say who, you know, he was teaching all this like anti-ground and pound, which is good. Like, so I had a friend who'd never been to his class, you know, under a different BJJ lineage, test some of that with me. And then lo and behold, some of the stuff he taught us didn't work. Not saying he can't make it work, but it just, you have to understand that no matter how skilled they are, how many accolades they are, not everything they're teaching is going to work for every single person.
Exactly.
Your body type could be different. Your reaction time could be different. The opponent could be thinking something different, not complying. You know, there's so many factors.
Of course.
So in a safe environment, just test it, or else you don't ever want to just be like, yeah, my sensei knows stuff, or my sensei's this, my sensei's that, therefore blah, blah, blah. You always have to put everything in reality.
Of course. Dude, it's kind of hard, you know, finding like a proper blade defense, like you know, like system, because like you don't know if they're going to go over, you know, if they're going to go under. Like 90% of them, I see them like tacking all weird. Like I seen one video not that long ago where like there's like a guy, he's like going like this. It's like, if a guy comes at you to play like this, you're gonna smack it, you're gonna hit him in the face. It's just like, what the fuck? Let me find out somebody attacks a blade like that. I want to try that. But other than that, it's like, I think it's super difficult finding a right blade defense, you know, because everyone's unpredictable. Everybody does it super differently. You might find someone that does it over, under. You might find someone that like hooks it, puts it between their fingers. Like it's super unpredictable.
Super unpredictable, like you said, man. It's crazy, and that's why go take cross country running lessons or something. Learn to run, because that's the best defense. There's a really funny video that I found on Chinese social media that I'm going to feature eventually, where it's just like Chinese police officers be like, okay, this is the right knife defense, and then one of the police officers pulls a knife, the other guy just runs.
Really?
Yeah. Even the Chinese police are like, yeah, you know, with all the awesome kung fu we have, we're not going to fight someone with a knife if we don't have a gun or something on our hand.
Yeah, we're just going to run.
Yeah, just run. Or, you know, if you have enough people, you know, all of you grab sticks and beat them or something, but don't like go one-on-one against someone with a knife.
Some Brazilian street justice, you just beat the shit out of them in public.
Yeah.
No, I think I seen this one video. I think you reviewed it on your channel. It must have been a very long time ago, but I heard there's a guy saying that you should run, and when you're running, ball up.
Oh yeah,
trip over you.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
Yeah,
and I was just thinking, like, would that work?
See, I got so many comments on that video specifically. And they were like, yeah, I did it when I was younger. I did it once and it worked. So it looks like, you know, I kind of poked fun at it, but maybe it actually does work. I mean, I did it once, and the thing is, it's hard to stop yourself and fall in a controlled way when you're running. Like, the momentum just doesn't make sense, right? Momentum, mass times velocity. Like, there's a reason, like, there's physics. You can't just stop immediately and go down. I've tried it before, but maybe what actually you're supposed to do is, like, you run, and as he's catching up, you kind of preemptively slow down. So you're kind of slow down, you're controlled, then you go down. So it's not like you run and you duck down immediately. It's like you run, let him catch up so he thinks he's catching up to you, and then you, like, duck. Because I don't think there's a way to, like, run, and then just ball up immediately. You're going to fall because the physics doesn't work that way. I don't know. That's my thought.
That's true. I mean, if that was the case, would you think that, like, he would have, like, just stabbed you when you're slowing down?
Yeah, exactly. So if like you take my assumption, which is you reduce your velocity before you go down, then yes, probably the person chasing you is going to react to. He's not going to be running full speed at you. He's going to start slowing down too. So then the ball thing probably wouldn't work either, right? Because it's all about surprise. So if you slow down, you take away that element of surprise, then he's not going to trip over you. He's going to be like, oh, you're slowing down, I'm slowing down. Let's fight again. So,
yeah, of course.
So,
yeah. Best self-defense, guys.
Just keep running. Call the cops or something. Bring some pepper spray.
Spray.
You know, depending on the city, depending on the laws of your state, just carry some sidearms for real emergency self-defense situations.
Yeah, actually, they made nunchucks legal in Arizona.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So yeah, I got I maxed out over here, behind me.
Dude, Even 10 years ago, they weren't legal. It's so crazy. Even 10 years ago, like in many states, they weren't legal. It's just like people have not moved on the Bruce Lee days. They still think everyone could kick people's butts.
They were waiting for everybody to devolve so you can legalize nunchucks again. Yeah. But no, I mean, I still had some even then. I feel like I don't really understood that. Like, was it like illegal to walk around in public, or was it illegal
you
just
couldn't
to
walk
have?
around in public. So if you had them in a karate studio or something, that's cool. But you couldn't walk around with them like showing.
Yeah. So what was the point of teaching self-defense with nunchucks you couldn't bring around in the first place?
Yeah, I don't know. But there's also people who would say nunchucks have very little actual self-defense use. Something about how they're built, and you don't get the maximum. Again, I don't know the exact wording, but you don't get the maximum something or another. But,
I mean, it depends on how they use it. Like, there's a little thing I do where like you can go like that, where like, you chuck it with one hand and it's gonna hit you with this side right here. And mom told me a story where like if you flick it hard enough, you can actually dent trees with them.
Wow. I see. Yeah. So you're using them more like a range extender. So it's like you can hit something outside of your normal striking range.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that case, dude, I would say, yeah, if you're using it like that, absolutely.
Yeah, I was reading on some stuff too about it because I don't remember what the reason was. I was just looking around, and there's like some dude saying, "Oh, you can disarm people with them." I don't know how to do that.
Use nunchucks and disarm people?
Yeah, that's what they said.
Huh.
They said you can like wrap around like the blade of a handle or something. They said something like that. I'm not sure.
I see. Yeah, I would say if you have to test it or something, don't believe that.
Yeah, I'm not going to. I'm very tempted to test it because I have a lot of stuff here.
Might as well test it. Yeah, do it in a safe environment. Put up a video or something because most nunchucks, the chain isn't long enough, I think, to wrap anything.
Yeah, that's true. Unless you have like a 9-section chain whip or something. Exactly.
Like, and even if you do wrap something, it's just like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, you could test it, see what happens.
If I ever get the chance to, I'll send one to you.
Yeah, definitely. Please do. Guys, and with that being said, I think that's a good place to end this call. Dude, this was so fun. Thank you so much for reaching out to me, offering to tell me some funny stories.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for letting me.
So your YouTube is just Mugshot Shorty. If they search that, they'll find you.
Yeah. I have a few songs leaked for some rapper that like I'm friends with, I guess. But
I see.
Other than that, yeah.
I see. So what? I guess we can end off with this question. What is your kind of goal with your martial arts training? Do you one day want to do more professional stuff? Do you want to go on a teacher? Do you just want to make this kind of your hobby?
I want to make it more of a hobby. I do want to go professional when I'm confident enough, feel like I'm able to apply it myself. So when I'm able to like apply everything I've learned, like I want to use like literally every part of your body. So like that's why I wanted to learn Shi Quan was because you're using your snake strikes. I want to learn how to use the chops, and use the back of the fist. I want to use all of it and apply it. So the minute I feel like I've done that, then that's when I want to go professional.
I see. That's so interesting. Well, yeah, keep us posted too about your journey learning stuff like that, because I'm always curious when I find cool traditional martial arts that kind of can be pressure tested. So if you find something like that, let us know.
Oh, I will. Definitely.
Cool, dude. We can keep talking, but I'm going to stop the recording now. For those of you watching, Fight Commentary Breakdowns out. Again, this was conversation about Bullshido with Mugshot Shorty.
Yep.